nonetheless. Today, we get the rest of the story, all the details on how it happened there on Lay Lake, and I think you'll agree with me that Jay is just the man to tell us. It did begin on July 25th, Lay Lake, not too far from Birmingham, Alabama. We're talking about 10,000 plus acres of water here, but I think you'll find that even from day number one, much of the story is concentrated on those first 3 or 4 miles south of the Logan Martin Dam, right there at the top of the lake. Aaron Martens will play a big part in today's story as well, and his pattern, chasing schooling fish.
Really primarily feeding on gizzard shad, and that's what they're probably, I'd say probably 80% of their diet's gizzard shad, and probably the other 10% right now is probably threadfin, and I mean, they eat everything that comes out here, minnows, chubs, whatever, but primary forage is definitely gizzard shad, and of course they eat crawdads and stuff like that, but that bait, of all the baits I got, I can't find anything that's more like a gizzard. So that's a big fish. It looks small, but it isn't. Doggone it. That's like maybe 2 pounds. Come on. If they get the shad, they're done. They won't eat your bait. If they actually get that shad in their mouth, they don't usually eat 2 baits. Oh man, they're going off out behind us. Big fish, man, big fish. That's what I wanted. Oh, stay on, baby. That's a good one. Oh, man, I wish I had a net right now. Oh, man, stay down. That's a 3-pounder. Oh, they're strong. My gosh, they're strong. Oh, yes. That's what we want. That's what I've been catching. That's what I wanted to see. Oh, man. I haven't had many jump like that. That's really that is so scary, especially when you see the baits on the kind of outside of the mouth. One of the hooks was in, and it looked like it may have not been hooked in the mouth, and it was, but that's a good 3 1/4. That's what we want. That's a nice fish.
Another thing you gotta do in the Classic is you can't get in too big a hurry and get nervous, and you take your time and don't fish too fast, which is hard for me.
Fish slow, that's going to be a problem for everyone, especially on this, the first morning of the Classic. And Angler of the Year Davey Height, differing from Aaron Martens, he's flipping the weed line.
Baby. Yeah, that's what it started off. Be still, big head. It's the first day of the Bassmaster Classic, and you know, I don't care if you are the Angler of the Year, you're concerned about catching that first fish, and you know, I kind of I contemplated what I was going to do, try to fish shallow and catch 5 of those largemouth, or at least catch a couple of those and have that good stringer, or go, you know, just try to catch some spots offshore. And I decided I was going to go for the win.
Well, Alton Jones, Scott Brook, Gary Klein, 49 others, they are also going for the win because this is the big one. This is the Bassmaster Classic.
We're watching our defending champion, Kevin Vandam, catch a small fish to start the day with. But, Jay, the thing I really want to hear from you is an explanation as to why is the Bassmaster Classic such a big deal?
It really is. It's truly the pinnacle of sporting event in the fishing industry each year. And there's everybody that's anybody in the industry is there at the Classic. It's followed by people that don't normally follow fishing tournaments, and it's just it's our Super Bowl. It really is. It's the biggest fishing tournament in the world every year.
And Sanders was dropping names there a minute ago. One he forgot was Mark Davis. Mark Davis is getting a good start for the day.
There's a good one.
Mark Davis is the only man ever to win the Bassmasters Classic and the Angler of the Year title in the same year. All these anglers are working on just one practice day out of the last 30, so their ability to adapt, to change to fit the conditions, very, very important here on Lay Lake.
He's an ornery thing.
All right, you see Mark Davis taking the position there. This is something we haven't seen all year. The Classic is the first time this year these anglers are going to have to land their fish without a net, so he's got to get ready to do that.
That's what we're looking for.
The Citgo Bassmasters Classic is brought to you by Citgo, by Skeeter Boats, and by Yamaha.
Okay, I'm going to get you to talk about Lay Lake a little bit for me. How many miles do we have to fish?
We've got roughly 48 miles, dam to dam.
And that's a lot of water, isn't it?
A lot of water.
A lot of spotted bass.
A lot of bass in this lake.
And then son of a guns were schooling. You normally don't chase schooling fish in a tournament.
No, not if you can help it. I don't like to chase them. They're too unpredictable for tournament fishing, but they were schooling pretty good, especially in the morning. Then they turned the water on in the afternoon. The schooling activity would slow somewhat, and I'd pick up my jig and catch my big ones on the bottom then.
Of course, the spots were so big, you had to pay attention to them.
You bet.
Hey, we're going to place Davey Hyde right here in beeswax, and Davey is not fishing for schooling fish. He's flipping jigs, I guess, into the grass lines, isn't he?
Flipping the grass.
And you've got some help down here at the dam. Aaron Martens, of course, is down there, and again, you guys are really working over that first, what would you say, 5 miles where most of those fish were breaking?
Yeah, not even that. I would say the last 2 miles before the Logan Martin Dam.
And one more guy to place, Mike Iaconelli, and Tommy, we'll let you take Mike.
Well, he's on Waxahachie Creek, just near the Chat-and-Chew. I'm sure most of our viewers know where that is.
Spent a lot of time there.
He's an interesting case, an indication of how hard it is to qualify for the Classic. They only take 30 guys from the Pro Tour. Iaconelli won the Lake Seminole tournament on the tour, yet only qualified in 24th place.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yes, baby. I'm on a strong pattern here. I mean, if this doesn't tell you, if this doesn't slap you in the face and say, Mike, this is what you need to do, then nothing does. I mean, basically what we had here is we got 4 bites in a period of about 20 minutes all on the same pattern, which is grass, outside edge of grass on a tube, on a man's dragging tube. I mean, this is plain as day. This is what I'm going to be doing until I have my limit. That's a good quality fish. It's about 2.5 pounder. That's what we need to do.
Well, Iaconelli, like Davey Hyde, on the weed line there. Back to Aaron Martens. He continues to stay with his pattern, the schooling spotted bass.
Perfect cast. No reason. If they get that bait, they're done. They won't eat your shad. You got to get your bait in front of them before they eat the shad they're chasing.
And here's what Aaron is looking at, a sweet spot over there against the bank, and it just stays hot.
There's that big one again. Same spot. That's a big fish. That's a 3.5 pound fish right there. Oh, man. I'm going to catch that fish today. I can almost promise it. He's going down.
He is going down, and Aaron is upstream about 20 minutes from our takeoff. He's just below Buzzard Island. Looks like he's just out there in open water casting at busting fish, but these fish are probably living on this sucking high spot here. That's a great place, and they move around on it, go up and down and up the sides, and then they come up after those shad and back down on any one of the humps that are out in the middle of that water.
Ah, it's a big one, guys. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, man, that's a good fish. I don't know how this fish feels bigger than the last one. Oh, man. That's 3 pounds. Yeah. Whoopee, huh? Man, oh man, I thought I missed the fish. There must have been 2 or 3 there. That's a keeper.
Look at the size of that spotted bass. They are unbelievable here on Lay Lake. But Davey Height, he's closing in on a good first day's catch. And tell you what, his largemouth is something to brag about, too.
Oh, baby. It was sweet this morning. Them's the kind we need to, brother. Chill bumps on the back of my neck. Well, if I don't catch another one, man, I mean, it's been an awesome day already.
Well, Davey's pumped. I wonder if we can get that same kind of emotion out of Mike Iaconelli. Yes, we wonder.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it a shot.
Big one. That's the kicker I need. Giant.
All right, you can take your ear protection out. Again, we go from Iaconelli to Martens. Wow.
Coming at me, one too. It might be better. Oh man, it came towards me.
Well, Aaron has used 3 baits to put a limit of fish in the boat here on the first day. He's used a top water, a swim bait, and a hair jig, which accounts for his last bass here.
Better.
And at no time has he thrown anything up against the bank.
Oh, that'll get rid of that little one. That's all I wanted to do. That's plenty big enough to get rid of that little one.
Back to the Civic Center, the first day weigh-in, the early leader, you bet, Aaron Martens.
14 pounds and an ounce.
And it will almost hold up through the day, but the big stringer is yet to come.
There it is, 18 pounds and 9 ounces.
18.9. This gonna get better.
My stringer yesterday was so far under par that I knew I'd probably be leading the tournament by a good margin. I mean, I've done this a long time, 15 years or so, and in those 15 years I've had very few days where things went just as sweet and perfect as they did for me yesterday.
That's our day 1 leader, Jay Yellis, and we are on Alabama's Lay Lake for the bass tournament of all bass tournaments, the Bassmasters Classic. And one of the real stories has been this man right here, our Federation champ, Ken Christ.
Ken is such a great story. You know, it just seems like we've been with him for months because we covered him up in the Great Outdoor Games, you know, just a week or so before this, and we just got to know him, and it was what a good guy.
Yeah, we saw his whole story on the Red River when he won the championship as well.
That's absolutely right. He's had a career wrapped up in the last month.
What a year.
All these guys are, well, I shouldn't say all these guys. There are two patterns going, and all these guys fishing the weed line seem to be doing pretty well. And then, of course, the other pattern is the anglers up there at the dam fishing for the schooling fish. But there's some pretty nice largemouth being caught off these weed lines.
There's a lot of weed line on Lay Lake, all different thicknesses, too. First look at David Walker from Sevierville, Tennessee.
Boy, he's a bank fisherman and a jig flipper, and boy, this is right up his alley for sure.
Yes. Get in this boat, yeah. That's the size fish you want to catch right there.
And Tommy, you wonder why these guys are so good. Boy, check out this cast. Walker throws that jig 4 feet up underneath that bush.
Man, when it's working, because I have not fished any of these spots where it's caught the fish. I've never fished before. Uh-huh. Oh, God, that's a good one. Oh, man. Oh, come here. Gosh. Gosh. Okay. Come here, fish. Oh, it's a big spot. Come here. Oh, man, look at that one. Holy cow, look at this. Oh, look at that spot. Yeah. Kick ass. Oh, man. Oh, that's a big one there, man.
Well, maybe we're not seeing enough superstar faces today, but Vandam, George Cochran, Tim Horton, they're all struggling on this lake today. And this man, Larry Nixon, he had a good first day, but will only catch 8 pounds today. Larry Nixon, though, is known for his strong finishes, so we can't give up on him just yet.
He ain't no biggin', but he'll start, and he ain't too bad.
But our man Kevin Vandam, the ESPY Award winner just 2 weeks before the Classic, he's going to stay with his shallow water pattern, but to no avail. Hey, even Aaron Martens is having trouble today. Not with the bite, but just putting him in the boat.
That was a good fish. All right, there's a big one sitting up in the shallows up there. I want her. She's like 4 pounds. Oh, gosh, absolutely, that's the hardest bite I've ever had in my hair jig in my life, except for a striper. Oh, my God, it's a big fish. That's 4 big ones I've lost today. Oh, my God. That's another good fish, really good fish.
Jay, Aaron is moaning and groaning there a little bit. It's the morning of that second day. You were doing a little bit of groaning yourself, weren't you?
You bet. The tough fishing was really tough in the mornings up here. Before the water turned on, it was hard to catch a bass. And Aaron, he wasn't doing anything wrong when he was losing those fish right there. The fish just were not aggressive yet. The current wasn't on yet.
We're looking at your tracks, both you and Aaron's tracks early in the morning, and you can see Aaron in the white here is kind of zeroed in just ahead of Elliott Island. You're already up to your spot. You had to go out and check that out, didn't you?
Well, I had to check it the morning of the second day because I'd done so well there in the afternoon of the first day. But I went up there, and there was no water on, so I came back down to my rock piles that were out a little bit deeper water.
Yeah, so you can see both of you guys are kind of in the same place right now, and in the 3D look here, you can see why. There's just a lot of good cover there, And although I guess you weren't really fishing that much, that is where the fish were schooling.
Right. This was the spotted bass loved this spot. It was a rock vein that came out into the middle of the river. It was 2 feet on top and 8 feet on the bottom. And
You'd hit it with your big engine.
You could.
I mean, you could.
You could if the water was off, and it would just make a current break when the current was on, and the spotted bass were really schooled up there, and it was a great spot.
How come Aaron didn't come share some of his hair jigs with you?
I didn't even have a hair jig in the boat the whole tournament, so I never did catch much on those other spots. I'd catch some little fish on a little Berkeley Frenzy crankbait or a Frenzy popper, but I didn't have a hair jig. I will next time.
He was really working them over with that hair jig. But I do want to, just real quickly say that here is your honey hole, and you ran up there early. But what you're trying to do, I guess, Jay, and you back me up here, you're trying to hit this little spot right in here.
That's exactly right, and that's where I would go about 10:30 each morning. The water would come on at 10. I'd give it about a half an hour to rise. The water would rise a full 3 feet up there, and those fish would flood right up to the shoreline, these little undercut banks underneath overhanging trees. That was my key stretch.
And as soon as that whistle went on and the water started boiling, Jay kicked it in at that time.
That's when everything happened for me. Just about everything I weighed in, I caught between 10:30 and 1. Oh, golly, jumped off of there. Dang it.
Well, like Jerry said, Jay's fish have awakened now, and although he lost this fish, he will be culling very soon.
This is prime time now. I caught right here. I've caught a 3.5 in practice, a 4.5 and a 6 yesterday, and a 2.5 today. So I'd roll that tape if I was you. That's about the best spot I've got. I only hooked 2 of the 3 bites. Can't count them. Ooh, that's a nice spot. That's what we're looking for. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Good old Berkeley power jig. Yeah, that'll do.
Midway through the second day, and Davey Height, Aaron Martens, and Mike Iaconelli still have a big goose egg. They will come on, though. At least they better if they want to catch up with Jay Yellis and David Walker.
Turn the current on. Started flowing. They're gonna bite now, man. Them fish out there that wouldn't bite, I bet you anything they'd bite right now. We're gonna go find out.
Oh. God, why? This is not right. It's just, there's no reason for this, man.
Hello. Yes. Ginger. Yeah. I'm fishing.
Welcome back to the Citgo Bassmasters Classic on Lay Lake in central Alabama, where Federation angler Ken Christ has taken a phone call from Sister Ginger there, who's looking for an instant update.
Right.
Ken is going to move up to 4th after today. Veteran angler Tommy Martin, with a total of 19.7, will settle for 7th going into the final day of fishing. Tommy was a classic champ back in 1974, and after not qualifying for a few years, he is back after having a really good, successful season.
Boy, he just barely hooked. I was really lucky to get this fish.
I wonder how many fish are barely hooked in every tournament. And Davey Height, even though he was kind enough to hook up for our helicopter, He had his problems after, boy, he had a great start day one, but he only weighs in 412 for this day. He drops all the way to 11th place.
It's about time, isn't it? Hey!
All right, distract the kids. Anyone who's faint of heart, look out because Bud Pruitt, burying the hooks of his crankbait right there in his chest.
Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, that sucker's in my chest.
Well, I have to hand it to Bud. He tries to act composed, but is obviously in a lot of pain. He's having a good tournament, by the way. One place ahead of Height in 10th place by the end of the day.
Ta-da.
Does that hurt to watch just a little bit? Yes, I think it does hurt to watch. Okay. All right, I think.
Thank you.
Yes, you can open your eyes again now. We're back to Aaron Martens. He and David Walker, both of these guys coming on strong.
Fish.
Both of them sticking very close to their original game plan.
Fish. Feels really good. Oh my gosh. I'll take a smaller one. This is a really big fish. This is it, man. This is a big, big, big fish. Man, oh man, no. That's I can't even stop fishing. I gotta just get one more. That's a good one.
This is a giant. Oh man. Come here, come here. Come here. Oh, no, get in the boat. Got it. Ooh, man, is that a classic fish or what? Yeah. Yes, sir. Man. Oh, somebody come over and sit on this lid till it's time to go in.
I'm supposed to win the Bassmasters Classic? Oh my goodness. I'm supposed to win the Bassmasters Classic when they do stuff like that to me? Oh, that's just laughable. It's so ridiculous. He's got... Take an act of God to put one on my hook after that. I got one. Oh, that can't be a bass. Oh yeah, it can be a big one too. That's an act of God right there. I just called it. Oh, he's barely hooked. Come here, come here, come here. Oh, yes. All right. I just called it, man. That pontoon boat just ran on plane 10 feet from where this fish was at. I said, it'll take an act of God to make one bite in there now.
Man, I keep watching that thinking that fish is going to get off.
He sure could have. I didn't do a very good job of landing it, but it was meant to be.
You did?
Yeah.
12 minutes left. You just told me that. I think that was pretty amazing.
That fish was the most dramatic catch I've ever had in my career. There were 12 minutes to go at the end of that second day before I had to head back to the weigh-in. I had about 11.5 pounds, but that was the biggest fish of the tournament that bit me with 12 minutes to go, and it just made my day.
And you had to think, I'm the champion.
Well,
you put that in.
Well, I was running back in. It was a huge adrenaline surge, you know. After catching that 6-pounder with 12 minutes to go, I figured the Classic was probably mine. It was just meant to be.
So what do you think, Tommy? Can you give us some scores from the
Take that big largemouth and just sprint towards the weigh-in, the day 2 weigh-in. Fisherman here weighing in. David Walker, what an upgrade he had. 7 pounds up from day number 1 with 16.05, total of 25.14. Aaron Martens down from day 1, 3rd place with 25.03. And Jay Yellis, again, the big fish of the day. That was it, 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Biggest limit of 2 days in a row as well. 16.9 on this day, 35.2 going into the final day. Look at the anglers who missed the cut. Kevin Vandam, last year's champ, missed it by 1 ounce. Last year's runner-up, Scott Rook. Iaconelli zeroed on the last day. Gary Klein will have to wait at least till next year for another go-around with the Classic. The final chapter coming up next. Don't go away.
We had a lot of high points in this Classic, but that pontoon boat running over Jay's bank and then him catching the biggest fish of the tournament was the flashback.
Today's flashback has been brought to you by Long John Silver's.
The Citgo Bassmasters Classic is brought to you by Busch Beer, by Triton Boats, and by Mercury.
Jay's going to have to stumble for anybody to catch him today, but I'm swinging for the fence. I'm not going to give up. You can't, that's one thing I learned last year. You just keep catching your fish, and you'll see where you end up.
David Walker of Sevierville, Tennessee, one of the anglers challenging for the title at the Citgo Bassmasters Classic. We're on Lay Lake near Birmingham, Alabama. We started with 52 anglers. Here as we begin coverage of our 3rd and final day, we're down to 25, but really only 3 anglers with a shot at the title. Walker, Aaron Martens in 3rd place, the man from California, and Jay Yellis of Texas, an almost 9-pound lead on the field, 35 pounds and 2 ounces. Jay and Jerry, you guys look ready to pick up the story from there.
Well, you know, he's making it where it isn't any funny.
What are you talking about? It was a lot of fun.
Fun for one guy, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay, we have got to talk about current. Current. It's the thing, isn't it?
In this tournament, it was. Without current up that river, I wouldn't have caught much, neither would any of those guys.
I'm going to try to, with an illustration here, try my darndest to explain to the folks out there what we're talking about. And when there is no current, and this is not necessarily your spot, this is just a spot on a river. And here's what happens. No current, the fish are, you know, they're kind of scattered out, very lethargic, not interested in anything, and they probably stay that way. And then all at once, the current kicks on. You see them kind of line up there. You know, they might not do that exactly on your spot, Jay, but that is what happens, isn't it?
That's exactly what happens.
There's some eddies, incidentally.
It's not only the predators, but also the bait fish, the shad, also move to those eddies when the current turns on. And so the bait fish get in a real well-defined area. It makes it easy for the bass to catch them.
Here is something that's so important. You weren't actually casting and reeling back to the boat, were you?
No, I was using a very unusual presentation for big largemouth especially. I was casting my jig upstream and just picking up the slack as the current washed my jig downstream on the bottom, kind of like some salmon or trout fishing I've done over the years. I've caught smallmouth in heavy current like that. Never have I ever caught 5- and 6-pound black bass in heavy current drifting a jig.
Well, you're headed up the lake right here in a position that every bass fisherman in the world would like to be in.
Absolutely.
You're leading the Classic last day.
I've never led the Classic, let alone have a 9-pound, 4-ounce lead going into the last day. That was a dream come true. I knew I needed about 8 pounds probably to win was the magic number I had in my head. And this is early in the morning. The current is off. I'm starting on the pipeline. It's a rock pile. I'm going to fish a Berkeley Frenzy, deep diving crankbait, maybe a Frenzy popper to catch some schooling activity. But you can see here, this is Logan Martin Dam. Early that 3rd morning, there is no water being released. Everything's dead still. The fishing was terrible that morning. I didn't have a bite for the first 3 hours.
And what time did it really come on?
Came on at 10.
Came on about 10. So at this point, you've got a couple more hours to spend. And I thought this was an unusual spot right here.
Yeah.
The posse is after you.
Yeah, this is my paparazzi chasing me. Early that last morning, I'd run up to Logan Martin Dam and saw that the water was off, so I turned around, headed back downstream, and all my fans were turning around and following me.
And all that time, David Walker is working on him with a topwater bait. He's down in Kelly's Branch, just very close to the takeoff spot.
Well, the spectators are in full force for the contenders today. The bass fishing fans in Alabama are truly intense. And although we've heard the numbers have been large, they've been extremely courteous and respectful. Walker's group, in fact, have backed off. They've left him all the room in the world here to work his topwater lure.
Hold up. Yes. That's a good one. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Well, Jay Yellis is still fishless early. And he was working his way up through Aaron Martin's spectators right there. And Aaron, along with David, we saw David catch a nice fish there a second ago. Aaron and Walker are really hot. I think at one point during the morning, David Walker actually took the lead, but Martens is really catching some dandy spotted bass.
Man.
Oh, yeah, come here. Get in the boat. Yeah. Now we're talking. Whew. Yes, sir. Yeah, what do you think of that deal, man?
Well, he came into today with the 9-pound lead. I want you to take a look at all the company he has on the water. That is just a tiny fraction of it, but he had to know about this. He's a veteran. He's been around. He knows what they're like in Alabama. The crowds are great, and they're plentiful.
And you know, he acts like he's pretty cool with all the commotion going on.
There's nothing he can do about it anyway. He might as well be.
And you know, I said David Walker took the lead there, and that was primarily because Jay has not caught a fish yet, but Walker and Aaron Martin both are just about to limit out. So Jay's going to catch up. Boy, that is what he's looking for right now. Boy, that whistle goes off up there in me, and instantly, Tommy, the fish start to become very active, and you have to wonder if he can pull it out here. He's got one spot he's really counting on.
Walker and Martens have pulled ahead of him, but can this be the point where the thing turns around, where Jay Yellis catches his good limit of fish as he heads up toward the dam?
This week's Fish Eye View has been brought to you by Citgo.
It's the Citgo Bassmasters Classic, Lay Lake, Birmingham, Alabama. We do know that Jay Yellis is our champion. Let's watch him pull it off. Let's see how it happened on that special day.
Tommy, you don't want to put any bets up on who's going to win this?
Sure, yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, let's look at some of the other guys who had great weeks, including Kevin Worth in Crestwood, Kentucky. 14 pounds on the second day, and Kevin hangs on for 8th place here in this Bassmasters Classic.
Kevin's a good angler, been solid all year long.
Something I need.
Boy, here's our buddy right here, Gary Yamamoto, and he's had a real consistent week.
Absolutely, 11 pounds, 10 pounds, 9 pounds here on day number 3, 30 pounds, 14 ounces, his total for 7th place in the tournament.
And we sure enjoyed watching him fish all summer long, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Gary Yamamoto.
Yahoo! That's what I need. There's a better fish.
Ken Christ, our Federation champion, trying to be the first Federation angler since Brian Kirchall to win the Bassmasters Classic.
And I
fall a little short this week.
Yeah, I think so, but still the Federation ought to be really proud of Ken, because he, as we said earlier, we've been with him for several weeks now, and he's just been a joy to be around.
Real classy guy.
And all fishing should be happy with the Federation, because, boy, they are great folks and very important to bass fishing.
So look out now, here comes the man.
All right, there's one. Finally, that was a bite I missed a minute ago. He ain't big, he's a little largemouth, but I'll take him. Dang. Took forever to get that first bite.
Caught me off guard. It's my first cast. Oh, thank you. Great. There's a jig. And that's kind of what they're looking for. A little keeper. A little keeper's really good right now. I need 10. Oh, I need about 15 pounds. I need a long ways to go. Oh, God, I fish chase that shad forever. And you actually see them knock it out of the water and stun it. They like will hit it with their gills and slash at it and knock the shad out of the water. You see a shad flap in the air and then it stuns it and they eat it. Once they get a slash on it, it's done. Especially the great thing to do.
All right. Well, he's only 1.5 pounds, but we'll take him.
Oh, it's a big fish. Oh, that's a 3-pounder.
We're about to wear out the talk about the area by the dam, but man, this is where it's happening. Jay actually fished up there by the dam some, but this area up and down the river is where he's fished the pipeline area, the schooling fish before the water starts, but then he goes to this little magic spot along that right-hand bank. It's probably only 25 feet long, and he has caught one good fish there every day.
I think he's hooked good.
All right. Thank you, Lord. There's a 6-pounder on that same tree yesterday. That one will go about 5. Woo!
Let's go, Joe.
Thanks. I just fished that tree 10 minutes ago. He wasn't, you're right. Lordy, lordy. That helps a bunch. And this week, I've caught a 4-pound spotted bass, a 6'4" largemouth, and a 5-pound largemouth off that same little overhanging sycamore tree.
It's one of the biggest fish I've had here. Oh my gosh, it's huge. Yes! Ah! Oh my gosh, that fish we saw jumping. Oh, that's huge. All the 4-pounders I've had on scene, I finally landed one. Oh, God. Oh.
Well, I guess it's only fitting that Jay Ellis and Aaron Martens there saved their best for last. But Jay's best, it was just too much. And he will help us go through the weigh-in when we come back. The Citgo Bassmasters Classic is brought to you by Citgo, by Long John Silver's, Kumo Tires, and by Flowmaster. All right, we are back at the Bassmasters Classic. 3 anglers left to weigh in, and still leading based on his weight from the first 2 days is Jay Ellis. Our next angler is going to weigh in now. Go get your fish. Aaron Martin. Let's hear it for Aaron Martens right here. What Aaron needs to take the lead, 10 pounds. 14 pounds, 6 ounces. He takes the lead, Aaron Martens. Our leader at this time, Aaron Martens, David Walker. Go get the fish, David. David Walker, in order to take the lead, is going to have 13 pounds, 12 ounces. 39.9, the lead held by Aaron Martens right now. 9:15, just a little bit short. Oh my gosh, when you say deja vu all over again, David. 3rd place.
Take a look at the final leaderboard. Of course, our champ, Jay Ellis. 2nd place was Aaron Martens. 3rd place for the 2nd consecutive year, David Walker of Sevierville, Tennessee. O.T. Fears in 4th, and a man never far from the top, no matter what the event, Larry Nixon in 5th place. And Jay, before we go, I guess all the good wins we see here on the show are stories of guys who find the fish get on a good pattern, and have the patience and the confidence more than anything to stick with it. And that was your story this week.
That surely was. That's how tournaments are won. You find an area that's holding a good concentration of quality bass, and you just got to be patient. Fishing still requires patience, even in 2002.
Absolutely. One of your contemporaries, Kevin Vandam, you and he have been going at the Classic about the same number of years. Won it last year. You win it this year. What did you see that happened to him last year? What was his year like, and what do you expect your year to be like?
Well, it's just a whirlwind year. You know, the Classic is the World Championship, and it just, the last few weeks for me has just been the busiest time in my life. I've never fielded so many phone calls and emails and such. So I expect the next year to be just a wonderful time. A lot of great things are going to come in the next year.
All the extra duties you have now, is that going to interfere with your competition?
I'm not going to let it. I'm really a competitor at heart. That's what I enjoy doing the most, is competing in tournaments. And so I'm going to keep a full schedule of tournaments next spring.
All right, good luck to you. Thanks for reminiscing about your favorite 3 days of fishing of all time. Jay Yellis of Tyler, Texas. One more trip back to the weigh-in as Jay puts this one in the record books, the Classic for 2002.
One angler left to weigh in to settle the championship, the Bassmasters Classic Championship for 2002.
For most consecutive
current
let's see him.
appearances at the Bassmasters Classic, he has paid his dues.
He needs 4 pounds and 8 ounces. Look at that. 10 pounds, 11 ounces. Your Classic champion is Jerry Ellis.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPNOutdoors.com.